In the hush before sunrise, when lingering worries still press at the edges of your mind, you pause and ask, will outside noise dictate the rhythm of this day? Soft amber light peeks over the horizon, brushing rooftops with promise. And within that gentle glow, a sacred invitation rises, an awakening to God's nearness. The quiet air invites alignment, drawing your pulse to the steady cadence of heaven. Here, you dare surrender the schedule, the what-ifs, the unexpected turns, trusting the Almighty Composer to conduct each breath. You remember the psalmist's assurance. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. Psalm 5:3. This verse reminds you that dawn is God's appointed meeting, a place of active listening and divine answer. Beneath this promise, questions bloom. What burden most needs releasing? What hidden hope longs to surface? As you inhale grace and exhale striving, strength for empowerment gathers, seeds of resilience root deep, and a hush of praise already crowns your thoughts. Now, as your heart grows still, we step into the unfolding prayer. Morning's first breath brushes your skin like the faintest breeze stirring curtains at an open window, and you sense the Spirit nudging you from restless half-sleep into conscious wonder. In this delicate threshold between night's residue and day's demands, you choose to rise inwardly before feet ever touch the floor. You do not rush to headlines or hurried messages. Instead, you notice the gold-rimmed clouds stretching eastward, each one announcing God's new mercies that arrive without delay. You whisper thanks for the pulse in your wrist, the rhythm in your chest, the steady inhale that is itself a quiet benediction, and with every heartbeat you confess, the author of dawn awakens not only earth, but also you. The robins begin their tentative anthem, and each note feels like an echo of heaven's gentle summons, coaxing your spirit to lift its gaze. You remember Elijah on Mount Horeb, searching for the Almighty in wind, quake, and fire, yet finding Him in a still, small voice. Why 1 Kings 19:12. This scene speaks to your present moment. The divine voice often emerges through tender silence, not theatrical storm. So you lean into the hush, allowing the faint birdsong to become a melody of assurance. Now, envision the day as an empty manuscript lying open before you. Circumstances may scrawl unpredictable lines, yet the true ink is forged in unseen places where grace writes deeper than circumstance. You ask, what if every ordinary task, making coffee, tying shoelaces, greeting a loved one, could become a liturgy of attention? You decide it can. You entrust your senses to God's artistry, eyes to notice subtle beauty, ears to catch kindness, tongue to season conversations with gentleness. A gentle warmth unfurls in your chest, a sign that the King of creation cares not merely for sweeping victories, but for the simplest sigh released in His presence. You receive that care, letting it steady the muscles in your shoulders, uncoil tension from your jaw. You are fully awake now, not merely to sunrise, but to something steady beyond it. Lift a silent prayer. Lord, awaken every dormant promise within me. Tune my thoughts to the pitch of your goodness. As the last indigo shadows retreat and pearls of dew glisten on grass, you step forward, already carrying a secret certainty. God sets the tone, and the tone is peace. Like a stringed instrument stretching toward perfect pitch, you pause and let the master musician tighten or loosen every thought until each one hums true. External demands buzz at the edges of your mind, yet you resist their hurried tempo, choosing instead the measured cadence of divine presence. You picture a gentle metronome ticking within, a holy pulse guiding every plan, conversation, and silent intention of this coming day. With every inhale, your chest expands with quiet expectancy. With every exhale, cluttered agendas drift away, leaving room for a single, clarified focus: God first. Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So Matthew 6:33. Here, priority reshapes perspective. When you aim your heart toward eternal purposes, daily provisions fall naturally into place. The verse is not a formula for gain, but an invitation to trust the giver above every gift. You scan today's calendar, meetings, commutes, chores, yet refuse to see mere boxes and clocks. Instead, each appointment becomes a living altar where patience can flourish, compassion can bloom, wisdom can be offered without fanfare. You silently ask, which interaction might need an extra measure of gentleness? Where could a deliberate pause replace a hurried reply? Even your posture shifts, shoulders drop, pulse is slow, breathing regulates. By settling into this sacred rhythm, you grant the Spirit permission to edit hurry out of your movements and slip harmony into your speech. Outside, a breeze skims treetops, rustling leaves in irregular waves. Yet beneath the rustle, you discern steady birdsong, a reminder that divine order sings beneath surface change. You invite that melody to govern interior spaces. Peace becomes your compass, not unpredictability. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:5. Peace is not passive, it actively presides, making decisions on your behalf. Overruling restlessness, convening gratitude. You surrender to its wise leadership. Before moving on, you imagine fastening a lightweight yoke upon your shoulders, crafted not of duty, but of delight in partnership with the one who walks beside you. Step by measured step, you sense your pulse aligning with heaven's drum, not stiffly but fluid, like a river choosing its channel. You whisper, direct every word I'll speak, every thought I'll harbor, every action I'll take. And a gentle certainty answers, grace will keep the beat. Sunlight now fans across rooftops like a gentle banner, yet you sense that the deeper brightness rises not outside but within. Earlier resolutions already tug toward frantic proving, but you pause and unclench. Your fingers open the way petals loosen at dawn, releasing yesterday's tight expectations. No accusation, no regret, just quiet letting go. In that soft expansion, you recognize a truth. Ownership of this day was never yours to protect. It is a gift returned to the giver. You imagine each concern, deadline, diagnosis, unanswered message, becoming a feather laid upon an upturned palm. One by one, the feathers drift upward on invisible drafts until they vanish into the blue, borne by unseen wings sturdier than resolve. This lightness is not escape, it is holy transfer, the movement from self-effort to sacred reliance. The wind that carries is the same breath that first awakened earth, and it promises to sustain what it lifts. Moments soon may arrive with sharp turns. A colleague's sudden plea, a stalled commute, a headline that unsettles. Even surprises cannot dislodge a yielded heart. You picture yourself as a small boat on a broad river, hands loosened from oars, sail raised, trusting the quiet current chosen by an all-knowing captain. Drift is not aimlessness, It is alignment with a current wiser than charts and schedules. You cooperate by remaining attentive, ready to trim the sail when whispered direction shifts. Turn your inner gaze toward the quiet crossroads where aspiration meets limitation. You carry talents, commitments, dreams, yet finishing power comes from beyond intellect or skill. Like a field lying fallow between harvests, you allow space for holy interruption. An unexpected conversation, a prompting to offer help, a moment to simply listen. When you release the urge to orchestrate outcomes, you discover margin, fertile ground where the Spirit sows creativity and compassion. In that margin you taste relief. You are responsible to respond, not to rectify every variable. Security rests not in flawless performance, but in unwavering companionship. Even missteps become music when placed in those faithful hands. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. These words invite you to trade limited insight for limitless guidance, assuring that the route beyond your view is already plotted in perfect kindness. Now breathe slowly, drawing fresh grace into lungs no longer constricted by control. Feel shoulders soften, brow smooth, heartbeat steady. Whisper, "Into your hands I commit every outcome, every conversation, every unseen bend in the road. Where I would cling, teach me to rest. Where I would hurry, teach me to linger with you." As you rise from this moment, outer circumstances remain free to fluctuate, yet their power to dictate your mood dissolves. The author holds the pen, and you remain the yielded parchment upon which living hope is written line by luminous line. When yielded hands return to practical duties, you feel a quiet surge, as though the floor beneath your feet breathes with you, and the walls lean toward heaven's heartbeat. The kettle steams, notifications blink, traffic hums, yet none press heavy. Each becomes an opening for spirit-born vigor. You move without the jitter of proving yourself, guided by a current deeper than adrenaline, lighter than worry. Strength has slipped inside routine like sunlight through blinds, altering everything it touches. Empowerment in this kingdom never thrusts its chest. It flows like sap inside a vine, unseen yet unstoppable. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. St. John 15:5. Here Jesus recasts forces connection. Fruitfulness grows out of abiding, not frantic exertion. Productivity turns from anxious sprint to natural overflow. So you abide, murmuring a prayer while tying shoes, humming a hymn while merging lanes, pausing mid-task to glance toward the inner sanctuary where presence dwells. Each pause reconnects the circuit, letting fresh current surge through mind and muscle. Notice your posture, shoulders level, jaw released. Gaze lifted to meet others without apprehension. Words arrive seasoned with calm rather than defense. Decisions anchor in conviction rather than approval. You sense invisible armor settling. Truth steadies your core. Righteousness guards the heart. Peace softens every stride. Faith rises like a silent shield. None of it is self-forged. It is issued by the King, whose resources match the day's demands. Opportunities appear, an anxious coworker, a child's string of questions, an email laced with tension. You engage each with a resource beyond temperament. Strength expresses in gentleness, courage in listening, authority in compassion. When temptation whispers shortcuts, you counter not with sheer denial, but with deeper delight. The space once filled by craving is already occupied by promise. Power becomes protection against both despair and pride, steering you towards steady, humble usefulness. Picture the day's timeline as a winding trail through sunlit meadows and shaded bends. Grace places sure footing on loose gravel, illumines roots before they snag, refreshes you at clear streams when thirst would distract. You do not dread uneven ground, for the guide walks beside you, offering moment by moment counsel. Here, linger to notice, or now, quicken to serve. Endurance ceases to be a finite reservoir. It becomes a river that flows whenever obedience opens the gate. Return thanks often. Gratitude tethers empowerment to its source, preventing subtle drift towards self-congratulation. Each whispered, "Thank you," knots another rope to the vine, ensuring fruit stays sweet rather than sour with striving. And should fatigue brush twilight, you will recall strength was supplied all along, and tomorrow's portion will arrive precisely when dawn breaks again. Clouds gather without warning across your afternoon sky, shading plans you expected to unfold in calm sequence. Yet deep inside, a quiet pulse of gladness anchors you. Refusing to surrender its song to shifting weather, you recall sunrise resolved circumstances will not compose the score. So when schedules derail, you breathe slow, letting tension drain like rainwater through loose soil, and you listen for that earlier melody, the hidden refrain of grace that still hums beneath the thunder. Resilience is not stoic denial, it is supple trust. Like bamboo that bends beneath monsoon winds, then springs upright, you flex around disruption, held by unseen roots drinking from living groundwater. Joy is the sap inside those stalks, supple, persistent, refusing brittleness. You choose to trace small evidences of kindness, even while storm clouds rumble, the unexpected smile from a stranger, the warmth of your own steady heartbeat, the memory of dawn's promise still whispering that each minute is enveloped in almighty care. As interruptions multiply, traffic stalled, devices glitching, opinions clashing, you picture your soul as a lantern trimmed and lit, its flame protected by glass. Gusts may rock the frame, but the wick stands encircled by still air, fed by oil that cannot deplete. Joy is that oil, a gift pouring from presence, not from perfect prediction. You tilt the lantern forward, illuminating the next small step rather than demanding full horizon clearance. One step of obedience, one act of kindness, one whispered prayer becomes enough light for the moment. You practice gentle reframing. Delay becomes an invitation to notice others' wariness. Criticism becomes a chance to answer softly and sow peace. An unforeseen expense nudges you toward creative gratitude for resources already provided. Rather than asking why the storm arose, you ask how the wind might carry seeds of blessing into new soil. By shifting focus, you reclaim agency, choosing response over reaction, melody over noise. Silently you declare, joy and sorrow can coexist without cancelling each other. Drops may pelt windows, yet a bird may still sing from a branch, undeterred. You imitate that bird, voice lifting not in reckless cheer, but in grounded praise that steadies your breathing. Even if the storm intensifies, you hold the memory of previous deliverances like stones smoothed by countless rivers. Each proves a current that once seemed fierce eventually passed, leaving you stronger for its shaping. When evening approaches and the sky finally breaks open, you notice a hush spreading, as though the world exhales with you. Pavements glisten, scented with petrichor, clouds part to reveal streaks of rose and gold. In that glow you sense the quiet smile of the Father who never abandoned you mid-tempest. Your lantern still burns, its flame even brighter after being tested by wind. You whisper grateful awe. The storm could shake atmosphere, but not extinguish inner light. So you retire this day's turmoil into gentle hands, confident that the same resilience warmed by joy will rise with tomorrow's dawn. Muscles unclench, shoulders lower, heartbeat slow. Rain, damp air tastes fresher, night insects begin their rhythmic chorus. You close your eyes briefly, savoring the calm earned through faithfulness, knowing that storms may visit again, yet will always find you holding a secret ember that circumstances cannot snuff. Evening descends, yet gratitude lifts you higher than the fading light, carrying your perspective above rooftops towards soft constellations. The long arc of this day, shaped by dawn's promise, midday trials, and twilight hush, bends now towards sacred completion. You pause at a window or step onto a balcony and let memory curl backward the breath that welcomed sunrise, the alignment that tuned your pace, the surrender that eased control, the empowerment that fueled service, the resilience that steadied resolve. Each recollection becomes another jewel set into a crown of praise. Gratitude gathers first as a quiet murmur, then swells into full-bodied celebration. You speak aloud simple acknowledgements, warm tea, safe travels, honest laughter, lessons gleaned through friction. Naming each gift feels like lighting candles along an interior corridor. Shadows retreat, leaving space for radiant calm. Circumstances attempted to dictate a different story, yet grace authored every chapter, weaving even disruptions into unexpected beauty. Joy does not deny lingering fatigue, it transforms it into testimony, proof that divine strength carried you farther than personal will could stride. Shifting now from received blessings to the giver's character, faithful, creative, patient beyond measure, you feel awe spread through your chest like dawn's first blush across a quiet field. Confession becomes celebration. Every heartbeat, every solution, every spared misstep was orchestrated by unending kindness. You consider those whose paths crossed yours today, colleagues, strangers, loved ones, and offer thanks for the invisible threads connecting their stories to yours. Praise widens until it encircles communities, nations, the very globe spinning beneath the night sky. As worship deepens, worries shrink to proper scale. The one who sustained you today already inhabits every sunrise ahead. This certainty lets you lay head on pillow without rehearsing contingencies. Instead, you rehearse gratitude, letting it wrap around thoughts like a soft blanket. You recall that lantern within, its flame bright because oil was replenished through constant communion. Gratitude becomes fresh oil, ensuring tomorrow's flame will kindle easily when dawn calls again. Before rest, you stretch open your hands once more, palms facing sky in silent benediction. Whisper a final offering. May every breath given back in thanks ripple outward, blessing unseen corners of the world. Heartbeat slows in steady cadence, matching the hush around you. Stars blink overhead, wind rustles leaves, and a distant train sounds its low lullaby. Creation itself seems to nod in agreement. The day ends not in exhaustion, but in radiant closure. Your story remains unfinished, yet you trust the author whose pen never falters. Should sleep delay, you slowly trace an alphabet of blessings. A for air filling lungs, B for bread that nourished, C for conversations that sharpened insight, until Z reminds you of the zeal that will rise renewed. By the time you finish, eyelids grow heavy, and gratitude has braided every letter into lullaby. Take a final, unhurried breath. Notice peace resting in your chest, hope glimmering behind closing eyes. Recall today's journey awakening, alignment, surrender, empowerment, resilience, praise. Let that 6-step cadence mark every sunrise. If disruptions shout tomorrow, whisper the sequence until calm returns. Already decide to greet dawn with an open heart, before the world names its price for your attention. Picture light spilling across a quiet room, and hear the still small voice declaring fresh mercies. Release every lingering tension into the Father's hands, and let gratitude settle like dew upon your waiting dreams tonight too.